I grew up in a loving home, loving community, I would say, around family, uncles, aunts, uh, uh, a community bench, the houses in the area. We had a community store ran by the only non-relative in the community, and his name was Mr. Lassell, and he had a store across the street from the community bench. But my uncle had a little house right there at the bench, and he sold liquor. And so I had noticed people going in and out of the house, uh, and coming back to the bench. And so I guess one day it was raining, and so we all went into the house. And I noticed they were pouring something white into a little glass, and this they was acting really silly and everything after they did and everything. And so one day the children were playing ball in his backyard, and there was nobody in the house. And so I went in the house, got the jar of the little white stuff and a little glass, and I poured the white stuff in the glass, and I drank it. Tastes awful, but I drank it. And I said, well, this is nothing. So I poured me a little bit more in the little glass and drank it. And then about that time, they hollered, Doris, it's time for you to hit. And so I ran outside and I hit the ball, ran to first, crawled to second, and then crawled in the house and lay down. And I stayed there for most of the evening. And till my mom woke me up and said, it's time for me to go to the doctor. And one of my aunt was saying, no, let her walk. She's all right and everything. But my mom was not heard. She said I was going to the doctor. Of course, I couldn't say I'm drunk because that means I would have probably got a spanking. So I went to the doctor and he gave me medicine for being drunk. So that was the memory that I had from one of the memories I had from the bench. But like I said, it was a amazing family, uncles and aunts, and they was tell stories, make up stories, and just cut up outside. Mr. Council, Mr. Lynn Council, he had been lynched in 56, 50, I think it was 50 something. And my mom was part of the arrest at Pierce store on Holly Springs and 1010. They were accused of taking, I think, $100 from the store, and I think it's about 8 of them, teenagers, all from 19 to, I think the youngest was like maybe 11 or 12. And I believe my mom was probably 13, 14 years old. She was the youngest girl. It was 2 girls and I believe 5 boys. And so they were accused of taking money from, so my mom, if you knew her, she was the most humble person that you ever want to meet, first of all. And so for her to be accused of taking anything would, just break your heart. But she's this amazing lady that happened to marry my dad, who was a strict disciplinarian. I mean, just kept us feeling so safe that I think about it now. But this lady, she was a maid. She worked for Cindy Osmond family. I don't know if you have met Cindy or not, but she was a maid. She didn't have to work, but to get her a little extra money, she would work. I think I remember them saying $7 a day. It don't seem like a lot, but I guess it was a lot back then. So she was able to get us the clothes and things that we needed. But my dad provided for the house, the food, the rent. The thing about this, we stayed in a house. It was a white house with 6 rooms, 6 large rooms. And when you're little, you don't know that if you're renting or buying. And so we was renting. And one of my cousins told us not too long ago, I thought you all was rich because you stayed in this house. But no, not at all. But I think he was paying like $37 a month to live there. Yeah, yeah. So, um, but getting back to what you were saying is, she was real protective. I didn't get to go too far out of the community, where my sister, who is 2 years younger than I am, somehow she did. She was able to go to the lower end in Apex, where everything was going on. So my sister was able to go there. I don't ever remember going there. Once when I was in high school, I went with my cousin to one of the places in low end in Apex, but I wasn't allowed to do that. But I was telling you about my mom. She had heart problems, and she was in the hospital. So the night before, we went to see her. I guess they knew that she was passing, but they didn't tell us. And so when I went to school the next day, I just had a feeling that something was going on. So when I got on the school bus and we got to the St. Mary's area, our community, and my aunt got on the school bus and said, Doris, Kat, your mother's dead. That's what they told me that she said. I didn't really hear her, but I just had the feeling and assumed, and I just started screaming, and they pulled me off the bus. So that was one of the things that I really remember from the community. Yeah. My children was raised here, so and we are, like I said, I was raised outskirts of Apex, where my children was raised kind of across from Apex High School, so kind of in town Apex, and so that's where they were raised. So that's what makes it home. They went to went to the library here when they was little, and story time. Stories read to them. Check out library book in this place here, uh, and so just the I have always had a really good feeling in Apex. I didn't really get to see, experience the ugly side, but uh, just love. I guess the love that I have experienced, the community. Um, that's what makes it special to me, I guess. My hopes for Apex potential. I guess that we would do what we're doing now, tell the stories. Like everybody have a story, and I just love that you come together and you're doing this. Um, your story is important, my story is important, and our stories are not the same. I was thinking just yesterday, my sister and I lived in the same house. Our stories are not even the same. And this amazing lady, my mother, Lunera Harris, that she had 6 children of her own. Her brother had 2 older children, and he was he was enjoying life, I would say, and him and his wife was separated. And so the boy and the girl, my uncle's children, my mom and dad helped raise them. And so she wasn't as strict with them as she was with us. So I was saying, all our experiences are not the same. She tell me some stories now, the things that went on with her, that was horrible. Her going in different communities, and sometimes people would tell her, don't go with such and such a thing, and she would go, and things would happen to her. And now she's telling me, I said, well, we was in the same house. How is that possible that you could have this experience and It's terrible. And well, like I said, I was kind of sheltered, had no idea or no clue that this badness was happening. Or my cousin that, Mary Linda, she stayed on 1010. It's the same street to go from 1010 to Apex, all the way to Apex. And she said the Klansmen marched by her house, coming to a parade in Apex, I guess. I I didn't get to see any of that. So you can be in the same house, the same community, and just have different experience of what happened, of what happened to you, and that's personal. Telling my truth may not be your truth, you know, and so I'm just glad that we're able to share our individual truths. So that makes it really special. Apex is special, yeah. And we just, just not get in our own corners and uh, and just we just love each other, and we all the same. When we went through the coronavirus season, you realize, you're gonna live and you're gonna die, and once you're in the grave, then, you know, it's the same. You can't take that money with you. My husband's a minister, and he's say sometime in his sermon, I never seen a hearse behind behind procession, going to the grave. So you can make all the money in the world you want, but it's how you treat others, how others treat you. That's what's gonna matter eventually. Only thing that's gonna matter. How only somebody said how only what you do for Christ is gonna how you treat each other. That's the only thing that's gonna matter. Because we all born and we all die, and so that's it.